In the Golden Age of France, King Louis XIV, the Sun King, ruled over his empire from the opulent halls of Versailles. But despite his immense power, the king faced a looming fear, his own mortality. He wanted to rule France forever and sought immortality through dark and mysterious means. He is desperate to find a way to live forever and rule France for eternity. That's when he learns of a fantastical creature, something so rare that its existence could only be whispered about in the dark halls of legend. A mermaid, a being whose life force could grant him eternal life. King Louis commands his most trusted men to embark on a dangerous journey across the seas to capture this mythical creature. The ocean is vast, treacherous, and filled with unknown dangers, but they succeed. They capture a majestic mermaid, a creature of incredible beauty and sorrow. But at the heart of the king's palace, in the shadows of all his power, is a secret. A secret that even the king himself barely acknowledges. His daughter, Marie-Josèphe, a free-spirited young woman, has lived her life confined to the royal palace, unaware of the dark machinations happening just beyond the glittering walls of Versailles. Marie-Josèphe is unlike the others in the court. She is curious, rebellious, and yearns for adventure. She feels out of place in the cold and calculated world of royalty, where every gesture and word is a move in a dangerous game of power. As she rounded the corner of the garden, she saw him, King Louis XIV. He stood tall, his royal garments flowing in the light breeze. For a moment, Marie-Josèphe froze. As the king turned to leave, the fountain continued to flow, its waters as endless and unyielding as the expectations placed upon her. Marie-Josèphe stood there, watching him go, feeling both closer to him and further away than ever before. This was the first step on her journey, a journey not just to find her place in the court, but to find herself, and maybe, just maybe, to understand the man who called himself her father. The king, seeing this as his chance to conquer death, orders Yves to bring the mermaid to the palace, where she is imprisoned deep within the palace's underground chambers. The king's plan is horrifying. He intends to kill the mermaid in a grand ritual to drain her life force and gain immortality. One night, Marie-Josèphe, drawn by an inexplicable connection, stumbles upon the hidden chamber where the mermaid is imprisoned. She's stunned by the sight of the creature, a mermaid so unlike anything she's ever imagined. The mermaid, while otherworldly, is not a monster. She's intelligent, kind, and most of all, terrified. She doesn't speak, but her eyes, filled with sorrow, tell Marie-Josèphe everything she needs to know. She feels the mermaid's pain, her longing for the ocean, her desire to be free. This creature is not here to harm anyone. She is here against her will. At the same time, her relationship with Yves deepens. The captain begins to see Marie-Josèphe. She's strong, independent, and willing to fight for what's right. Marie-Josèphe held deep respect and admiration for her father, craving his approval and affection. She believed that if she could prove herself worthy, she might win his love. King Louis speaking. "I have plans for you," he said, his tone firm and unwavering. "You will take your place in the court. There is much for you to learn, and much that will be expected of you. You are, after all, a daughter of France." Marie-Josèphe nodded, but the weight of his words pressed heavily on her. This was not a father welcoming a daughter home. This was a king addressing his subject, a ruler issuing orders. He spoke not as a man, but as a monarch. And in that moment, Marie-Josèphe realized the true nature of her relationship with him. Her father was not a man to be loved. He was a symbol of power, a force to be reckoned with. His love, if it existed, was bound up in the expectations he had for her, in the ways she could serve his kingdom. But even so, beneath the layers of royal command and expectation, Marie-Josèphe saw something else. She caught a glimpse of the man behind the crown, a man who perhaps did care for her in his own distant, controlled way. It wasn't the warm embrace she had hoped for, but it was something. Marie-Josèphe confronts her father, begging him to reconsider his plan. She appeals to his love for her, hoping to awaken the fatherly affection she has always craved. But King Louis is resolute. His fear of death has consumed him, and he cannot see beyond his obsession with immortality. He dismisses her pleas to free the mermaid, reminding her of her duty to the crown, and for the first time, Marie-Josèphe realizes that the love she has longed for may never come. Now, she is on her own. With Yves by her side, Marie-Josèphe devises a bold plan to rescue the mermaid before the ritual can take place. It's a daring and dangerous mission. Guards patrol the area, and any wrong move could lead to their capture. Determined, Marie-Josèphe and Yves release the mermaid from her chains, but their escape is far from easy. The palace itself seems to pulse with the king's authority, as if it too is watching their every move. The king's guards discover them, and what follows is a heart-pounding chase through the twisting corridors of the palace. In a final, desperate moment, Marie-Josèphe and Yves reach the edge of the palace grounds, where the ocean lies beyond. But Marie-Josèphe's fate is not as certain. She is captured and brought before her father, the king. King Louis is furious. He feels betrayed not just as a ruler, but as a father. How could his own daughter, the one person he thought he could control, defy him in such a public and humiliating way? He threatens her with severe punishment, and for a moment, it seems as if Marie-Josèphe's fate is sealed. The mermaid, sensing her freedom, dives into the water, disappearing beneath the waves. But then, something unexpected happens. The mermaid, who had vanished into the depths of the ocean, returns. She rises from the waves and, in a moment of magic, saves Marie-Josèphe, healing her wounds and offering her a gift, a second chance at life, one filled with meaning, freedom, and love. Seeing this miraculous act, the king is forced to confront the truth. Immortality is not something to be stolen or bought with another's life. It is something that lives on in the legacy we leave behind, in the love we give to others. The bond between Marie-Josèphe and her father, once strained and distant, is forever change. The king, humbled by the events, allows his daughter to go free, understanding at last that no amount of power can replace the love and connection between a father and his child. In the end, Marie-Josèphe leaves the palace, her heart full of hope. She and Yves, their love strengthened by their shared adventure, set out on a new journey, one filled with possibility and freedom. Remind us to value compassion over power, to seek our own path even when it defies expectations, and to understand that true strength comes from love, empathy, and self-awareness rather than control or immortality.